Yeah, this is gonna be interesting since I've been so red-pilled.
Excuse me?
It's a joke.
I hope so. Because I didn't want you to be stupid.
Though I gotta say, a lot of these Republican presidents looking a little better. Reagan?
Alright,
I,
alright.
I couldn't say it with a straight face. I couldn't. I couldn't do it.
Let's be real, Reagan's better than Trump.
Oh, brother, I
Like, if
would
it
love
was
to
Trump
have
versus Reagan, I'd vote for Reagan every single chance I could.
hands down, please.
At least competent. And not fucking throwing a wrench in the whole system every opportunity they get.
Rise from your grave.
Rise from your grumbus.
All right, let me take a
What the
quick
hell?
look
Why
at
is my
this.
camera tiny?
It's your Stinkmeister.
Stinkmeister, really?
Yeah.
Whatever, dude.
Is that a
Alright.
new robe?
No. It's the oldest robe I own, actually.
No, I just haven't seen it in a while.
No.
What? I'm just asking.
Alright?
I'm just asking. God damn, man. You don't have to be such a
I'm too
fucking
broke,
prick.
okay? You don't have to keep calling me brokey. Hey, Google. Turn on the stream light. Jarvis, dork it a little. Hey, Google. Turn off the light in the office. Alright, I fucked that one up pretty royal. I'm surprised I got it. Oh, and there's one more thing that we gotta do. That I gotta do. Before we can really get this show on the road. Prepare for fireworks, boys. Because we all know how much me and...
The fuck is this? This is the objective tier list.
Yeah,
Hannah.
Hey, Hannah, how's it going? What the fuck is this? We are ranking U.S. presidents. There should be some arguing here.
That's the thing. Like, I thought about that, and it's like, I don't think there's going to be, especially with just the two of us, I don't think there's going to be that much arguing.
Fireworks left and right!
Alright, you can calm down.
Just constant fireworks.
Pew, pew.
Give me just 1 second and we will get started. Alright, he's firing them off already. Mark, why don't you go ahead and start by telling us how you feel about Georgia W. Georgie Dub. The Dub skirt.
George W., father of the nation.
Alright, you're out of control.
I mean...
Where are you putting him?
What is there really to say about him? Having just won the Revolutionary War... Oh...
Yeah,
he has
himself,
like
huh?
you were, yeah. Shut the fuck up. You said it yourself before the stream started. He has aura.
He's definitely got aura. There's no question.
He has aura. So, and considering
Out the wazoo.
Considering that not only did he step down,
that's the big thing for me that I was gonna bring up.
And the fact that, like, as far as I have seen, he had a relatively smooth presidency. You know, the Whiskey Rebellion, whatever.
Well, I mean, that kind of shit happens in practically every presidency, you'll notice.
Yeah.
Interestingly enough.
I'm willing to give him a B.
I'm willing to do that. I was gonna put him in A.
You're gonna put him in A?
Yeah, he belongs in A. And the thing that really brings him above and have an A is just simply the fact that he did the single most important thing that any president has ever done, and it's not even fucking close. He stepped down after 2 terms and didn't run. And that is the single most important thing he could have possibly done as the president of the US. It's just that important. But other than that, he didn't really do a whole fucking hell of a lot, let's be real.
Yeah, and so that's why I want to put him in
What is
B. He didn't
happening
do
here?
too much. Abdurrah, I think
Well,
you're confused with which George we're talking about.
no. George Washington. George Washington.
One
Yeah,
of
see,
three
Hannah's telling you, look,
George.
100% A.
I want to give him the A, but I can't. He he has the aura. He stepped down, but his presidency was normal. It there was no major issue. There was no major success. The major success that he had was winning. It was having won the revolution, but that was before the
Okay,
presidency. So I
so
can't give him an A for
there is
that.
one other really important thing that he set up. So, first of all, George Washington ratified the Constitution. Second of all, he created the first naturalization laws for citizenship, which are extremely important and integral to the functioning of our democracy. He also established copyright law. He also labeled the District of Columbia as our country capital. Um, he passed a bill and signed it into law that allowed the federal government to take on Revolutionary War debts that the states had taken on their own, so that they wouldn't have to. Each state would be able to administrate itself, and the federal government would take care of the cost. It was great. He did do a lot of good things. He created the national bank. He did a lot of stuff. It's not like he did nothing. It's just that there are a few things that I don't like that he did. Like, for example, his uh his stance on neutrality in Europe was a very, very long term bad policy that he's established as the first president of the US. I think that we really should have gotten involved in Europe way sooner than World War One. But you know how it is. Um
I mean, we did on and off.
I know, but not
We
not like when
yeah,
the
no,
world wars were setting up.
I understand what you mean.
Well, yeah, I'm just saying things that happened under his administration. So, just for the context of this conversation, to give you guys some overall idea of how I'm going to be using events that occurred during a presidency, is if something was signed into law and the president signed it, or it was done through an EO, I'm allowing them to take credit for it. However, if it's something that just happened while they were president, I don't give them credit for that. Like, for example, we'll eventually get to Jimmy Carter. He didn't really do fuck all to cause the economic downturn that happened during his presidency. It just kind of happened at the time because a big bubble burst in our economy, but we'll get to that later. Um so I wouldn't give him the down points for that. But, like, for example, you said Hamilton helped to create the bank. Well, sure. But actually, I think you're thinking of a different central bank, because we've had multiple different central banks or national banks in the history of the US. I don't know if, because we'll get to it in a second, but wasn't it Madison he dismantled the national bank? Who was it that dismantled the national bank?
Off the top of my head, I don't remember, but I
We'll
mean,
get to
but
it. And also, just for sourcing purposes, so that you guys can keep track of this, I'm using the Miller Center as my source of information for the key events that occurred during presidency, just so that you can fact check. But yeah, and also George Washington gets negative points for establishing tariffs.
Okay. Okay, come on, man.
I don't give a fuck if that was the norm. Just wait until we get to some of these other presidents right before the Civil War era.
And
My F tier is going to be loaded with presidents. Oh, also, hold on.
alright.
I'm changing the name of my F tier. Hold on. It has to be changed. Unbelievably. No. Unfathomably
Awful.
horrible. That's our standard. So it's not even F. It's unfathomably horrible. And we're going to remove E. Oh, and also my order of goodness, like the order that I put people in, is only gonna really apply in unfathomably horrible and S tier. Like I'm gonna give you a number 1 and a number 47. I guess
Alright.
technically there's only 46 presidents. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Shall we move on then?
Well, are you keeping him in B?
Yeah, I'm keeping him in B.
Yes. All right, so next up is John Adams. I'm not
Fuck
gonna
you.
lie, I do
Fuck
not
you.
know a whole hell of a lot about John Adams. He's
Well,
he
the basic
was into France, wasn't he? Is that what his big thing was?
the problem with Adams was that most of his presidency was embroiled in the XYZ affair.
Yeah, that's what I'm seeing right here, and that's the French thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So
I'm I'm gonna give
yeah,
him
he
a
ended French
D.
ties with the U.S. Most of the early presidents are going to be an A or B or C. And the only reason I say that is because they had the Herculean task of keeping a brand new democracy together. So I feel like that gets a lot of them points, you know what I mean? But I'm gonna go
I
ahead and put
suppose.
Adams in C. Yeah, so here it is. This is I thought that it was something like this, but he actually was the one who signed into law the Alien Enemies Act and the Alien Act, which is what allowed him to just deport people without due process and decide who's not a citizen anymore.
Yeah, I'm gonna give him a D.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh wow, I don't know about all that. Yeah,
I
he also was kind of a bitch, Adams was. And the reason I say that is
yeah.
because he constantly was trying to sue people over criticizing him.
Not only that, he was also the 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 Alien Sedition Acts, his feud with Jefferson,
Yeah, which
and
was instrumental to his failure.
and his his cutting of ties with France. Even though I fucking hate
Yeah.
France, that was a dumbass move.
Well, especially because France had just been nothing but homies to the US up to that point.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's just really
Exactly.
weird. I
Yeah,
think
no,
that again, this goes back to what I was saying about Washington. I think that the reason that Adams did that was because he was trying to uphold the European neutrality that was established by George Washington.
oh no, absolutely. He idolized Washington. I mean, many of them did.
Yeah. Yeah, I think Adams is in C. A rather uneventful presidency.
I like how so far I've ranked both of these presidents one lower than you so far.
Well, that's because you're a little bit more cynical than I am.
Yeah, I know. Anyway,
um, next up is Jefferson. I give Jefferson a solid A. He
Mm.
go on, say what you want to say.
I need to quickly get a recap on him.
One of the biggest things that he did was that he built on the naturalization laws of George Washington, and he actually lowered the amount of time that you have to stay in the United States before you can naturalize from 14 years to 5 years, which provided a monumental boost to population growth under his term from a citizen's perspective. And because those people were citizens, they could be taxed, and because they could be taxed, it grew revenue of the US government. He also repealed liquor taxes. And we always love to see that.
Oh, how could I forget? He purchased Louisiana.
That's actually
Nah,
what I was going to ask. Was he the one who did the Louisiana Purchase? All right.
yes.
Actually, I'm bumping him up to S tier.
I'm gonna give him an A tier.
You know what? I'm getting real fucking tired of you, big dog.
I mean, let's be. I want to be completely fair. I completely agree with you in all ways. It's just that I think, unfortunately, when measuring him against some later presidents, it's not possible to put him in S tier.
Yeah, well, he
I
also
think there
somehow
are.
got into a war with Tripoli.
Yeah, well, the Barbary pirates were
Yeah, no, you're
annoying.
totally right. I'm putting him in A tier.
I I think I think he well deserves A.
He's definitely at least as good as Washington. James Madison, the man with the Vegeta hairline, President Vegeta, is up next. I know very little to fucking nothing about about Madison. So give me 1 second. I know much more once we get to like the 20th century.
Yeah, I mean that's most that's most everybody.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's not like I was alive. So here's something. He fought very strongly for the separation of church and state, and actually vetoed two bills that would grant land specifically to Baptists. So that gets him points with me. I like that.
He oversaw the War of 1812.
Oh, minus points.
Yeah,
Didn't he just straight up just declare war on the
yeah.
British?
He so as I understand it,
Because they
France
were
and
stealing.
England.
They went to war, and the British were stealing our ships and forcing our citizens to become sailors. Right? Is that what it was?
They uh, I believe England was at war with France, and that's why each side was pressing U.S. traders, not even military ships, new to U.S. traders, if I'm not mistaken, into service, and that's why he went to Congress asking for the power to declare war on the UK because
Okay.
fuck was why was it just the UK and not France?
Well, France didn't do anything until later. France eventually sunk U.S. ships because the British kept stealing them.
I'm willing to give him a C.
I'm feeling exactly the same. I don't even really feel like there's much to argue about here. His big thing is that he just declared war on England, and I honestly I feel like he very easily could have negotiated something here that was a little bit better. And he definitely gets minus points for promoting Andrew Jackson through the military. Oh, he also declared war on multiple Indian tribes.
Yeah, but who cares about them?
Whoa. He's
And clipped
kidding,
out of
everybody.
context.
Yeah,
And
he's
clipped out of
kidding.
context.
Let's see.
It's fine. I don't stream anymore.
Oh, shut up.
Oh god. So we agreed C tier for Madison.
Yeah, C. I'm thinking C. James Monroe. Oh, the Monroe Doctrine. How exciting.
I I'm gonna come out right now and say C tier, but I kind of want to give him a D.
I'm straight up giving him a D. He's the penman of the Missouri Compromise.
Exactly. You know,
Like, you don't even have to
yeah,
convince me on that one.
yeah. No,
That now correct me. The Missouri Compromise was that for every slave state that was developed, there was another free state that had to be added as well, right? To keep the balance in the Senate. Is that what it was?
no, the Missouri Compromise was.
No, that's
I,
exactly what it
I,
was.
oh, it actually forced states to be added in pairs.
Yeah, you were.
I
It
didn't
made
realize
it so that
that.
you weren't allowed to.
I see. Okay, my understanding was just that it was a line north separating northern free states and southern free states.
Yeah, but I think that they added them in pairs at that latitude line.
No, I understand, but what I'm saying
Like
is,
in this
does the
case,
compro? Okay, I'm just gonna look
in
up the
in this
Missouri.
case, they added a free Maine and a slave Missouri.
As far as I can see, it just seems like it just set a line for slavery south, no slavery north.
Hmm. Maybe I'm thinking of a different compromise. There were many.
Yeah, of course there were many.
But we're starting to hit the point now, folks, where we're leading up to the Civil War. The groundwork that Monroe laid here is what eventually led to the Civil War happening.
Yeah.
Like, not having a strong stance on either or caused the Civil War. The Monroe Doctrine was that we would protect the Spanish colonies from Spanish influence, right? Like Cuba, for example.
Well, no, it was Europe stays out of America. That was
Oh, totally.
yeah, no,
Not just the Spanish colonies. It
yeah.
just happened to lead to that, though.
Hmm.
Okay. Oh, God. Implemented tariffs. Jesus Christ. He's lucky I don't have E on the screen anymore. Oh, and he liked Lafayette. Oh, my God.
All right. Yeah, that's a nice D tier
Yeah.
slot.
I don't like him. Not my favorite. All right. John the Quincy.
S tier.
All right, you're done.
Well, it's for one simple fact,
What? His name's Quincy?
Do you? No.
What?
It is because though while not president at the time, actually Secretary of State, he organized the admission of the greatest state to have joined the Union,
What's that?
Florida.
Yeah. Yikes. Man. Oh my god,
Okay.
this guy was super anti-free trade from what I can tell. He closed the ports to the British colonies. He sold stock in the United States Bank. And he proposed a canal in Nicaragua.
Yeah. Um,
And the tariff of abominations.
I think,
I'm putting Quincy in D tier.
yeah, I was about to say the same.
Monroe and Quincy back to back is diabolical. All right. We're starting to get into our Civil War era presidents now. I think this guy. Do we consider this person as the marking of the Civil War era?
Um, I would say so.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
This
well, it's either him or the next. Like we could say the next because the next would have been when photography would have been invented. Like
photography gets
when,
invented.
yeah,
What does that have to
we
do with
have,
fucking anything?
well, we have instead of portraits, we have actual pictures of these presidents.
Pictures of these presidents.
Yeah,
Oh. I see.
you understand? You understand what I'm
What does that have
saying?
to do with anything, though?
Yeah, whatever. We can say he's the start if that'll satisfy you.
Well, no, we can say the next guy's the start. I just feel like it's this guy.
It's your stream, Tom. You set the rules.
Marcus, don't piss me off.
You set the rules.
Marcus, don't piss me off. All right. So, obviously, we're talking about Andrew Jackson next. He's a little bit of a Mashukana. We do not like Andrew Jackson. Unfathomably horrible here. Um, Escalated conflict is how I'm going to put this with the Native Americans for literally no fucking reason at all. He just wanted to kill them because he hated them, which is absolutely fucking awful. He also gave John Calhoun a very high level of power in the U.S. government. It was Vice President John Calhoun, who some of you may know from later in the story of the United States here as the President of the Confederacy later down the line. So, fantastic. And the second that Jackson gets inaugurated, his choice of vice president blows up in his face immediately because Calhoun immediately starts fights with him in public. Isn't that fun and fancy free? How about that? And yeah, so that's just two of the bad things. He also removed some like public works projects. Like for example, they were building these roads in Kentucky, I believe. It was either Kentucky or Kansas. It started with a K. Pretty sure it's Kentucky though. Do you know, Mark, the Maysville Road? Was that Kentucky?
No, I don't remember.
Yeah, Kentucky. He canceled the road building project and just left them fucked. Um, Whatever. And he used that opportunity to start a fight with even more Native Americans. He then also started problems with the French by claiming that they were he claimed spoliation, which means that he thinks that the French owed the United States money. And somehow he convinces France to pay them money. Um
Really, really quick interjection. Did you say Calhoun was the president of the
Vice
Confederacy?
president. Yeah, he was, wasn't he? Or was he just the president? He was just in charge of South Carolina.
I don't know about at the time of the war, but Jefferson Davis was president of the
Yeah,
Confederacy,
you're totally right. But Calhoun was very important to the Confederacy, I'm pretty sure.
and his vice president was Alexander Stevens.
Sure, but Calhoun was really important to the Confederacy, wasn't he?
Calhoun Calhoun died in 1830. No, I'm sorry. In 1850.
Oh, so he died right before the Civil War.
Yeah.
Wait, but that's not possible because Buchanan had Calhoun as his vice president.
Are you sure it's this, or maybe it's a different Calhoun that I'm looking at.
No, it looks like you're right. He died in 1850.
Yeah, no.
Dude, he looks fucking shook.
Yeah, no.
Oh
You
my
know
god.
they always talk about like the presidency aging the presidents. The
Yeah,
vice
yeah.
presidency under under Adams shook this man.
Yeah, he looks fucking insane. That's whacked. Huh. I might just be wrong on this one, but we'll get there in just a moment. Um, but yeah, where are you putting Jackson? I've talked a lot about how much I hate this guy. I truly believe there's not even one redeemable thing about him.
It really isn't. Like the best you could say is that he maybe invented the American strongman personality.
Oh no. How well has that fucking worked out?
Exactly. Which is unfortunate.
Yeehaw.
But yeah, he really
Didn't
did
he also have an
screw
affair
over.
with some woman while he was in office?
No, there was the wife of one of his cabinet members. She was rather promiscuous, but while the rest of the cabinet and their families did not socialize with that specific member and his wife, Jackson still did.
Okay,
That's that whole controversy.
I see. There was also one other thing that he did that if the other stuff didn't sell you on him being in the unfathomably horrible tier, this will. His his addition of the nullification proclamation about the tariffs, the forced tariffs, the really crazy insane ones, that led to a Supreme Court case that decided that no president is allowed to just unilaterally apply tariffs to anybody. This will come up later in future presidents that we put on the tier list here, but it set the standard, and he fought extremely hard to overstep his bounds he did everything he possibly could with his presidential power to try and abuse his presidential power to get what he wanted. And that's a major problem for obvious reasons. We don't like people abusing our democracy. So, where did you say you put Andrew Jackson?
In F tier.
Unfathomably horrible.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah, I think we're in agreement. We can move on this one. We have a lot of presidents to get through here, boys. Martin Van Buren is up next.
I think he's a solid D.
I don't know, dude. He didn't do anything particularly bad himself, but he did lay the groundwork for really weird, unfortunate, and strange things to happen. But I'll put him in C because he didn't do anything particularly horrible. But he
Well,
also, like, for example, he opposed the annexation of Texas. Why? For what? Just for
America strong.
funsies? Because we had to eventually annex them anyway. So, what was that for? All you did was lay down the groundwork for a future problem. What you'll notice about especially these, like, early to middle presidents, their biggest problem is that they just continuously kick the can to the next president. Like, very few of them actually sit down and fix the fucking problem. It's very unfortunate, to be honest with you.
And he also continued several of Jackson's policies towards Native Americans.
Yes, but he did try to make peace with multiple Native American tribes. He was the one who first set up a conservation, wasn't he? Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe he just ended wars, active wars.
I think he just ended active wars.
Oh, he also separated the treasury from the rest of the banks in the country. Which is something that only lasted for like 5 years. So it was like wasted time, wasted legislation, and harmed our economy quite a bit. For no reason. And also, his military track record was quite terrible. Countries were just stealing naval vessels from the U.S. left and right during Van Buren's presidency. But he's a rather forgettable president. So I think he lands solidly in C tier. So the next one's an interesting one. Okay. The next one is William Harrison. He didn't live for very long.
How they praise that guy was dead in 30 days.
Yeah, that's can we even rank that guy? I guess you know what? He gets a D tier just for dying so quick. What a waste of everyone's time.
Honestly.
Like, what the fuck? Well, I guess he got a pneumonia. I'm putting him in C tier just because he did absolutely, literally fucking nothing. Except, I guess, technically, he appointed the next president because of the vice president. So, I mean, whatever. First vice president ever is next up, though.
I'd be more willing to just create a tier and say not enough information.
Yeah, who knows? Unless you want to put him with John Taylor because he picked John Taylor for the vice presidency. But
No,
John Taylor, the first person who's ever gone from vice president to president during his term, he that's what I said,
Tyler,
John
not
Tyler.
Taylor. You were saying Taylor.
Oh shit, my fucking bad. I'm thinking of Zachary Taylor. Tip a canoe and you can too. That was his fucking phrase.
No, I understand.
His slogan.
It's still funny.
So yeah, I'm gonna let you take the wheel on this one, Mark. How do you feel about John Tyler?
Well, he annexed Texas,
He did.
which
Thank God.
despite and brought us into a war with Mexico.
It was bound
Though
to
I
happen
think,
anyway.
yeah,
We got
though
California out of it.
I think Polk oversaw most of the war, or am I wrong?
Um, I think it was for both of them. Hold on. Let's see. I don't see anything in the key events about Mexico going to war with us under his presidency.
So it must have been under Polk
Er,
that we
Yeah.
really got into the war. All right, so I won't mark that against him.
Yep, and Florida becomes a state under John Tyler.
Yeah, did he do anything?
Original Florida man.
He ended a war with the Seminoles after
Yeehaw.
defrauding. Oh, oh no. Okay. And he was just generally, as far as I can tell, he was just genuinely expansionist, and
His
I'm willing
biggest
to give him a.
accomplishment is that he annexed Texas.
I'm willing to give him a C tier. Doesn't seem like he
Yeah,
did
I
anything.
put him on the
Fucked up
same
anything.
level as the guy who appointed him. Another extremely forgettable president. Because, like, other than the Texas annexation, he did almost nothing. I don't know, weird. He had his entire cabinet resign on him, though. Interestingly enough. For some reason. Alright, now the next one is a little bit of a bigger name. This is going to be Polk. James K. Polk. So, he is the one who came up with, well, he acted upon Manifest Destiny, which was the right to expand to the West. We used it to fulfill our continental U.S. goals. He made Texas a state. He had the Mormon migration to Utah occur under his administration, but again, like I said, we don't count things that have fuck all to do with the president's actual actions. And yes, the war with Mexico started under Polk in 1846. More tariffs. Passed more tariffs.
He reduced tariffs.
What?
He
Oh yeah, he lowered tariffs. All right, A
yeah.
tier. Gotta love free trade.
I was gonna put him on the same tier as Washington.
Well, he also established the Smithsonian's. So
A tier.
I do like
No,
them
I'm
there
put
museums. He oversaw the gold
just
rush too.
just a quick aside. I do like the Smithsonian as
It's cool.
kind of awful of a city DC is at times, like in
Well,
terms of like
unless you're rich.
trying to yeah, sure, unless you're rich, like trying to navigate it in a car, rather annoying.
Yeah, nobody
But the
ever said it was
Smithsonian is
walkable or drivable. It's very walkable.
it is very walkable, and I'll give them points for that. The Smithsonian is just nice. It's unfortunate that there's always so many fucking people there that it's never, which
Yeah, it
you know,
sucks.
it's there's no way that there's never going to be a few people there. I accept that fact, but like I just wish sometimes I could go to these like historical places in the nation's capital and not have to think, God fucking damn it, I'm surrounded by idiots. When the first time that I went to DC, I went to the Lincoln Memorial, and the amount of people that that had climbed the steps and were inside, you know, taking selfies, with Lincoln and just making a ruckus. And I'm like, fucking show some respect.
Yeah,
Like it
but
like
that's
you
everywhere you go
wouldn't.
nowadays.
I know, but I don't feel like you would see that at the Holocaust Memorial or the Vietnam Memorial.
Son, homie,
I
people are
haven't.
acting up at those places.
I'm sure. But it's like fuck. I hate people. I hate them. They're so fucking annoying.
I actually love people. They're so fun. But I'm putting Polk in B tier. He
I put them
oversaw
right
our
there.
first war with a country that's not like
That wasn't
related to another
European.
continent. Yeah.
Well, no. You can't say that because Mexico is definitely related to Spain. Can't say
And
that.
France, I guess, technically.
And France. So, like, if anything, you would you have to say that the first wars were
Come on, you
against
know
the
what I mean,
Indians.
though. Like the junta, like didn't Mexico already get its independence from France at this point?
I think so. I don't
So that
remember.
means that they're their own country.
Sure, but saying that they had no ties to Europe is
That's not what I meant.
just not.
I meant that it's not literally controlled by a European country. I'm saying it's our first intercontinental conflict.
Native Americans.
Dude, that doesn't fucking count.
Why doesn't it count? Because the
Because
Native
it's not,
Americans
they're
didn't
not
have
the same.
countries because they
Yeah,
didn't
like they're
have
not a
states.
nation state, you know? Come on, you know what I'm trying to say. Quit being a fucker.
The Haudenosaunee would like to have a word with you. Like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Brother. You keep it up, and I'm about to get the Iroquois Confederacy established on your ass.
You see, you don't even know who the Haudenosaunee is. That is the Iroquois.
Well, no, I'm talking about the Iroquois Confederacy that was kind of established by the French to fuck with us.
Oh. Eh.
Either
Anyway,
way,
I
moving on. What do you rank
yeah,
in Polk?
I put him in B right there with George.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, because you have Washington and B. Yeah. I got you. All right. So next up, and we're getting up to a real exciting point in time in the U.S. history, boys. We're starting to get there. We're almost there. So Zachary Taylor is next. Tippecanoe, and you can too. Yeah. So he didn't last very long, friends. He signed a dog shit compromise of 1850 and then died,
Yeah,
and
I
was
mean, he did
replaced
like to
with a
smoke.
nut.
Yeah, I think that he's a solid D tier.
Yeah, he's D. He's D compared to oh, what the hell was his name? Harrison. What was the last guy that died? Was it Harrison? Yeah,
William
William
Henry.
Harrison. He died and didn't do anything. This guy died right after signing some bullshit. So he's worse. And now it's
Yeah,
time for the most forgettable president possibly in US history. Not because he didn't do anything, but because nobody ever fucking remembers him at all. Or did he really do anything?
if anything, he. No, I was about to say that he may have advanced the onset of the Civil War.
Oh, no.
Oh
He's
no,
solid D,
no,
fugitive slave bill.
and I just remembered he also sent the black ships to Japan.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Well, that kind of gets some points though.
the Fugitive Slave Act is an issue.
It's really bad.
Uh,
I don't see anything about the black chips on Millers. That's unfortunately. Or that's unfortunate, is what I mean. Welcome to the stream,
Yeah.
Latest Life. My man is speaking to me in military codes. Yeah, I still think he falls in D tier just because
the
he was the
Fugitive
one who
Slave
actually
Act.
signed the Compromise of 1850 and the Fugitive Slave Bill. Like, I mean, dude, the Fugitive Slave
Nope.
Bill is one of the worst affronts to human dignity ever passed by any nation ever.
Yeah.
Like,
Whoever saw
it's
Dredd
so
versus Scott?
dehumanizing.
Was
Oh,
that
that doesn't happen until later.
yeah, how
The
much
Dred
later?
Scott monkey trial, that's in the 1900s.
No, it's not.
Are you
The
sure?
Dred Scott was the Dred versus Scott was like a was a slave.
Oh, Dred Scott. Wait, what's the no Scopes monkey trials? I got the names mixed up. I'm so silly.
Case of 1857 when 1857 would have been Franklin Pierce, James Buchanan. Okay, no, never mind.
We
Okay,
haven't gotten there yet.
yeah, yeah. D tier.
Was Dred Scott where they his like
He was in a
daughters or family members or something were still stuck in slavery and he sued saying that they should be living with him or something?
no, he was a slave who managed to make it. No. He was a slave, but his master took him into the north, and he tried to sue, saying that since he was in the north, he was no longer a slave, so he
I
could
see.
sue for
And
his
he
own
failed,
freedom.
right?
Yeah.
And that was because of the Fugitive Slave Act, right?
Um.
Like they were
Let's
saying that because of
see.
the Fugitive Slave Act, there's a legal responsibility to return him.
Let's see. Supreme Court decision. 7 justices formed the majority, enjoying the opinion written by Chief Justice.
Civil War's not a
Black
specialty of
people.
mine.
Black people could possess federal citizenship under the U.S. Constitution. The question is simply this: can I'm not going to say that word, whose ancestors were imported into this country and sold as slaves become a member of the political community formed and brought into existence by the Constitution of the United States, and as such become entitled to all its rights, privileges, and immunities granted by that instrument to the citizen? The court ruled they could not.
Well, that's unfortunate.
Yeah. So,
Dude, why does
really?
everything have to be racist?
So, cited in March 6th. Who who got that? Was that Buchanan?
For what?
Oh my
Like
god.
who that happened under?
Yeah, it happened 2 days after Buchanan got inaugurated. Oh my god, this poor man.
The Dred Scott case?
Yeah,
Well, we
two
will we
days.
will get we will get to Buchanan very soon.
Okay, yeah. All right, so
So
we are
Franklin Pierce is next.
yes,
Honestly, one
young
of
and
the most
fierce.
unfortunate motherfuckers ever. He gets elected, becomes president, and then his son dies. And not like a baby either. The kid was 11 years old.
Yeah.
Very unfortunate. I forget how he died. Oh, it says right here it was in a train wreck that the man died. That's unfortunate. Yikes. Oversaw the
I think
Gadsden Purchase. I don't know anything. I don't think I've ever heard of the Gadsden Purchase.
I
Just
read
purchased
that
some of
yesterday.
Mexico.
Yeah.
And his Secretary of State, Jefferson Davis. Treaty of Kanagawa. Oh, Pierce oversaw the first actual trade deal with Japan of any country in the world. Excellent. Oh, the Kansas-Nebraska Act.
Yeah.
Oof.
Uh,
Oof.
I don't know about you, but I'm gonna say D.
Oof. This just kind of opened everything up for slavery, right? No matter where the
Yeah.
state was. That's lame. Yeah, my man's getting a
Oh,
D. He caused a mini civil war in Kansas too because of that.
Kansas wasn't a state yet, so
Well, I'm saying they revolted against themselves. Like there was a civil war in Kansas.
yeah, bleeding Kansas. Who cares what a bunch of hicks in the Midwest do?
Jeepers. Started another war with some Native Americans. What the hell was up with the presidents in this like bicentennial?
You know, the uncivilized red man must be civilized by the white.
Dude, don't be
That's
saying
it.
that shit. I know you're memeing, but like people are gonna join and get the wrong fucking idea.
That was a sentiment at this time. What do you want from me? It's
I'm just
unfortunate. It
saying, make sure
sucks.
you say I don't think this, but this is what they thought. I'm
I'm
gonna get
simply
fucking banned because Mark's telling the truth. Yes, the correct answer
that's
is racism. Excellent work, Mark.
you're welcome. Okay.
All right,
Moving on.
it's time for everybody's most unfortunate president. This unlovable goofball, this unfortunate man, James Buchanan. So,
Old Buck Buchanan.
yeah,
God, what a
he had some unfortunate things happen while he was president. So first of all, the Dred Scott decision, which we were just talking about, that occurred under his presidency. Obviously though, we don't blame him for that because he's not in charge of the Supreme Court, right? And the rules are you're not going to judge presidents based off of things that just happened while they were president. But when it comes to Buchanan, it's kind of fucking hard not to. Because Buchanan's biggest problem is that all these things are happening around here. We're gearing up, getting ready for civil war to start. Like, it's getting real close to the boiling point here. And he just does fuck all. He just didn't know what the
yeah.
fuck to do. Like, nobody trained this guy. He didn't pass, like, his orientation.
So, a little quick interlude. I'm sure this was just done for comedic effect, but when the U.S. and England were fighting over some islands there off the coast of Washington, there's just south of Vancouver. when in this video I was watching, when British officials came to the White House to speak to Buchanan, he was just hiding behind a curtain. And it's like this is a grade schooler in the role of the presidency. Please take him away. He needs help.
Poor bastard.
Um, but the thing is, like, does he deserve? Does he deserve unfathomably horrible?
I'm sorry, dude, but he pissed his own vice president off so bad that he resigned.
Unfathomable.
I mean, dude,
Nah,
come
I
on,
just
man.
I feel so bad for him, man. I feel so bad.
Like the thing is, he just didn't fucking do anything. He's
Yeah,
guilty by association and guilty by not doing anything.
yeah. No, that's fair.
It's terrible. Like he sucked. Yeah, look, it even has a message here on the Miller Center. Buchanan makes his final message to Congress and calls the Union a sacred trust. Unfortunately, throughout his term, he hesitated to take strong action against secessionist leanings. Can you go fill it up? Literally last night, and that's it. Okay. I'll be over in a little while. I don't know. But what was I saying? So he allowed the Confederacy to be formed. His vice president resigned because he couldn't tolerate anything. He couldn't solve anything. Oh, what America needed at the time was a great peacemaker, or unironically, a great compromiser. And instead, we got a guy who hid behind curtains and did like literally fuck all.
I'm not here. Leave me alone.
Just please leave me alone. He's just so
Okay.
awful.
All
And
right.
yes, because of that, he's unfathomably horrible. Now, this is where I'm going to mark a break because the Civil War starts in this next one here. Um, or did it start at the end of? No, Lincoln gets inaugurated first before it starts. So we are going to go ahead and take a quick break here while I go do some stuff. I'll be right back, and I think some of the Reconstruction presidents we're gonna speed right through pretty quickly. But I'll be right back.
Ah, man. Hmm. Oh man. I hope everybody's having a good night.
Oh, oof. Getting a little chilly in here, little Marky.
Ooh.
Yeah. All right. I hope you enjoyed your brief break, Mark, because we're jumping right back into it, sucker.
I can't say that I did, because I just saw that Trump is escalating Ukraine.
That's what you're worried about. We'll get to him in a minute. Today he committed the cardinal sin against me and everyone in my field. Like okay, we'll get there. Abraham Lincoln is up next. I'm gonna get hated for this. I just know I am, but I can't lie. He's only an A-tier president. He is. I'm sorry. He's really not. He's really not all that. Like well, actually, no. You know what? He is S tier, but he's not the best. Let me put it to you like that. He's definitely S tier, but he's not the best.
I'm willing to
Does that
accept
sound
that.
good?
I'm willing to accept that.
Yeah, because
Like
the
the
Emancipation
second,
Proclamation, the Gettysburg Address, the 14th, 13th, and 14th Amendments, he kind of bald.
like, I'm not gonna lie, the instant that you stepped away, I went ahead and put him in S tier. It's it's not a lie and no secret that he is my favorite, but objectively, I can't call him the best.
You're right.
While
Oh, he didn't do the
while
14th, actually, just the 13th.
while he held the Union together, he passed the 13th Amendment, the Emancipation Proclamation,
He won the war.
all won the war. All great things.
Didn't he also allow African Americans to fight?
After a while, it took a little while before he allowed uh, African Americans to serve, but he did eventually.
Let's see.
When
I'm sure it's
measuring
going to
when
be on
measuring
here on the Millers.
when
No,
measuring him
he
against
actually allowed African Americans to join the U.S. military before the Civil War actually started.
dates mixed up.
1862 is when he organized black troops. 1863 is when the war started, I believe. Oh no, I'm wrong. Might be. Haha. 1861 is when the Civil War started at Fort Sumter. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, yes, yes.
Okay.
I mean, he's obviously S tier.
Yeah, I'd love to measure him against some of the other S tier presidents, but since he only was able to preside over the Civil War, and while he handled it incredibly well, considering the situation Buchanan left him in, it's saying that he's the
Yeah,
best.
he kind of had scraps to work with, didn't he?
It just can't. It just can't be measured. And the fact that we never got to see his second term. Fuck you, Booth.
Yeah, fucking
I'm gonna
James
throw that.
Wilkes Booth, man.
I'm gonna throw that out there. Fuck you, Booth.
And your lineage.
Yeah,
It was
sure. Why not?
James Wilkes, right?
No, it's John Wilkes Booth.
John Wilkes. I got the Wilkes Booth. All right, I think we can move on from Abraham.
Yeah.
Andrew Johnson
Or
is next, the first Reconstruction president.
um.
So, I am about to get seriously flamed. I actually think that Johnson, he belongs in A tier. And the reason that I think he belongs in A tier is because one, he granted amnesty to the Confederate soldiers and some of the high-ranking Confederates. And I think that that was important. A lot of people look at that and they're like, "Oh my God, this guy's another fucker. He's giving these people amnesty. They should be punished to the fullest extent of the law." The thing is, they do still have to make the South work. Like, they have to have people administrating things in the South. They have to have leadership in the South. Or else the Reconstruction just can't even work to begin with. Like, it's a lost cause to start. And I think that that's what he was going for with amnesty. I don't think it was like a him pardoning his best buddies type situation. I think it was much more we need people to actually govern the South and get things back under control. We need to right the ship. So that's what I think the amnesty was actually about. And if you think about it in that way, it makes a lot of sense.
I I agree, but I can't put him in A tier.
Why is that?
Well, he shot down an early civil rights bill
What are you talking
that
about?
may have. I'm trying to find it here.
Well, he expanded freedmen's rights. Like, he created that Freedmen's Bureau to try and help them, like, bridge the gap between slaves and freed. I mean, obviously, everything was extremely racist given the time period, no matter what he did. But, um, it's still better than fucking nothing. He also oversaw the addition of the 14th Amendment.
Yeah, here it is. The Civil Rights Act of 1866 defined all citizens defined as citizens all persons born in the US except for Native Americans.
You're saying that was the original Civil Rights Act?
Yeah. Well,
Well,
that's
yeah,
the one
but
that
he was doing that because so there was a reason why he shot that down. He shot that down because he wanted to pass the 14th Amendment instead, which did the same thing, but he passed that one because he wanted to overturn Dred Scott. And in order to do that, it had to be a constitutional amendment because the Supreme Court made the decision and they interpret the Constitution.
Oh, I'm I'm being dumb. I didn't even see this. No, Congress overrode his veto. All right. I'll give him a C tier.
Really? What other issues do you have with him?
How do I put this? I just don't think that highly of him. It's just that simple.
I mean, he managed the country in a really tricky position after after Abraham Lincoln died. Like he really held it down.
No, but I just
He
I don't
also
want to.
purchased Alaska.
How was the Alaska purchase under him?
Yeah.
All right, B tier.
He also did all three of the Reconstruction Acts. Oh wait, no, he opposed all three of the Reconstruction Acts. His veto was overridden in all three of them. Okay, I'm gonna reduce him to B.
All right.
Oh
Now
wow, he was the
on.
first president to ever be impeached. Interesting. Interesting. All right, so moving on. I'm putting Johnson in B tier.
I'll stick him in C.
He had a really tough situation that he had to deal with, and I think that he made the best out of what he could do. He clearly had a
Agreed.
lot of disagreements with Congress, though. So Ulysses S. Grant, um, not my favorite president, if I'm honest with you. He oversaw multiple public works, though, which I will say gives him points. Like, for example, the Transcontinental Railroad was finished under his administration, but how much he really had to do with that, I'm not so sure. But he did also oversee the building of the Brooklyn Bridge, which received public funding. He was, again, another expansionist, annexed a few states, you know how it is. He readmitted a lot of states into the Union. He established the Weather Bureau, passed the 15th Amendment, which is very important. He doubled down on voting rights when it came to African American folks by going against the KKK. He reduced tariffs. Overall, I think he was all right. What do you think?
Um, I think he's a C tier because he did all right,
I'm with
but he
you.
did he did have some missteps that I personally take issue with.
Like what?
He wasn't a great judge of character, so
Definitely not.
corruption under his presidency was a big problem. And while he tried to reconcile relations with Native Americans, his policies
His
did
approach
lead
was
to,
really brutal.
yeah, and I can't say that I like them. So I think for me personally, those weigh a lot more than what good he did. So like for the amount of good he did, plus the like negative stuff, I put him in C tier.
Okay. He also oversaw the first passage of a Civil Rights Act. It was later struck down in the Supreme Court after his administration ended, though.
Yeah, C tier.
He also wanted to provide public funding to schools. He was the first president to do that.
Mm, still C tier.
I mean, I'm keeping him in C tier too, don't worry. Um, very soon we're about to come into somebody that I think is extremely underrated. He's coming up soon, but not quite yet. Get there very soon though. But Rutherford B. Hayes is next. Um, refresh my memory here, but I think Rutherford B. Hayes really exploded government spending, didn't he?
I think. Mm,
And wasn't he like a turbo anti-immigration guy? Like, didn't he very strongly dislike Chinese people?
I'm trying to refresh my own memory.
It's such a shame because I want to see historical data that goes back that far, but the US just didn't keep good enough data before 1960. What'd you say?
I said, yeah.
Like I'd really love to be able to go back and see what the GDP was under Rutherford B. Hayes. But yeah, he limited immigration from China. Um I mean, he didn't really do a whole hell of a lot other than that. He supported the building of Suez and Panama Canal. He supported building them.
I'm willing to give him a C tier.
I don't know. He is kind of a nothing president, but the things that he did do that I know about aren't good. Like limiting immigration for no reason, for example. I'm putting him in D. I think that's the first time I've ranked someone under you.
Yeah.
He's not too good. James Garfield is next. The cat. I know literally fuck all about him, if I'm honest with you.
Well, I mean, he holds the distinction of being the second ever president assassinated.
Oh yeah, he didn't do very much, huh? Jeepers. Yikes. Um, I'll just put him in C tier then. I mean, fuck it. He died. He didn't do anything. He wasn't even president for a year. Chester Arthur, another very forgettable president. These Reconstruction presidents are like all the same guy. I swear.
Yeah. It's rather unfortunate.
What, that
I'm
they're all
just
the
gonna,
same guy?
yeah, I'm just gonna go ahead and place Chester in C. I don't think he did anything too bad
Yeah.
there.
No, well, he did veto the Chinese Exclusion Act, which gets him a little bit of points.
I think
Helped a
C.
little bit. It seemed like he was into a lot of regulation establishment on like doctors and river boats. He's a C tier in my opinion. Like I don't like some of these presidents just don't they don't do fuck all. Ooh.
Yes, Tom.
No, he's a B.
He's a B.
He's a B. He established the Bureau of Labor.
Fair enough.
Trying to see if there's anything else that's horrible. Yeah, that seems like all he did of import. And then Grover is next, the mustachioed man himself. They called him the Mighty Mustache, for those of you who don't know. Jesus Christ, another dead vice president. What the fuck was going on during Reconstruction?
You
When
know.
does Reconstruction officially end? Start of World War One?
No, I think it starts,
No, stops.
or rather stops right about here with Grover Cleveland. I wouldn't say that.
He's the last Reconstruction, you think?
I think, yeah, from Chester. Yeah, I would say he's the last because I don't think I definitely from McKinley onward. There's
There
no
you
more
go, MK
Reconstruction.
Ultra. I call him the Mighty Mustache. That's what's up.
I don't know if Benjamin Harris could be considered one, so I'm not entirely sure.
Yeah,
I
this just happens to be the part of American history where I am absolutely the weakest by far is the Reconstruction era presidents because they're all the same fucking guys. Though I will
yeah,
tell you, reading from, and just another reminder for everybody who's been joining, we're using the Miller Center as our information source for deciding what happened during a president's presidency. Um, from what I'm reading about Grover Cleveland, he seemed pretty fucking decent, with a few exceptions.
yeah.
Like, he created the Department of Agriculture, he made the Bureau of Labor its own thing, he upheld the rights for people to unionize.
I'm willing to put him in B tier.
Yeah, he seems pretty decent. He issued US Treasury bonds for the first time, lowered tariffs. He restored gold reserves with the help of JP Morgan himself. Oh, what the hell? The Supreme Court under his presidency ruled that income tax was unconstitutional. That's a little that's a little wild. And how many fucking kids did this guy have while he was president? Oh, expanded the federal debt by 262 million. Ooh-wee, that sure is a whole lot, huh? He also seemed to stand up for immigrants a little bit too. You know what? Honestly, Cleveland, you get a solid B tier. Like, honestly, of the Reconstruction people that we've looked at so far, he seems like he seems like a pretty good dude.
Yeah,
With the
I would agree.
exception of the Chinese Exclusion Act, that's kind of like the blemish on his. He deported 20,000 Chinese people.
Well, is any one of them really blemish free?
Of course not.
Mm-hmm.
But
I think I can live with
upholding
that.
union rights, establishing an independent Bureau of Labor, first president to ever get married during his presidency. Pretty decent. Yeah, I give B tier. That's surprising to me. I didn't know anything about him going into this, if I'm totally honest with you.
That's fine.
And then we
Again,
have Benji next.
they're all the same president.
Mighty Mustache got a B tier. No, I think he's different. He's distinctly different from the other Reconstruction guys. And then we
Benjamin
have Benjamin
Harrison,
Harrison.
grandson of William.
Is he actually?
I know he's related. I'm not sure of the grandson.
Oh.
I know a
So,
grandson of William Henry Harrison. Yes.
oh, nice. I wonder if that helped him get elected. Of course it did. Um,
Mm.
They felt so bad for his dad. They elected him. So already plus points for holding the first Pan American conference, where he invited all of the Latin American countries to the table, started drawing up trade agreements, things like that. Just like get that North and South American unity going on. He passed the Sherman Antitrust Act, which disabled people from being able to establish um, monopolies. That's top fucking tier. He gave pensions to Union soldier veterans. Um, Idaho and Wyoming become states. He signs the Sherman Silver Purchase Act into law. Don't really know a whole lot about that though. He tries to ban lottery tickets at a federal level. Interesting. And then
He
succeeds.
authorized the, he authorized the first forest reserve at Yellowstone.
Pretty top tier.
Yeah.
He
Mm.
increased tariffs across the board to 49.5% on manufactured goods, with the exception of Latin American countries that received a lower rate. Interesting. Starting to see some
Hmm.
real foreign policy develop with this guy.
I think I'm gonna
Resolve
put him
tensions
in.
between US and Chile. Sorry.
I think I'm gonna put him in A tier.
I like him in A tier too. I'm kind of with you. He seems what's up.
He seems on the up and up.
Yeah, he seems to support union rights as well. And he took over Hawaii. Oh boy. Uh-oh. Grover. Wait, what? Didn't we just do Grover Cleveland?
He won. He
Oh
lost
yeah, he
his
won
reelection
twice,
bid.
right?
Yeah, he lost. He lost the election bid towards
Yeah, and
to
then he came
Benjamin.
back.
Yeah,
Yeah, and then we already judged him. So on to McKinley, who looks so scary. Like this dude could have easily been an actor in like an early silent horror film.
yeah.
Son of Frankenstein. So he's the first president to ever do foreign aid. He gave $50,000 in relief money to Cuba.
He was also the tariff king.
Yeah, he raised tariffs exponentially. He allowed a coal mine strike in Pennsylvania to turn violent and then did nothing about it. Interesting.
Started American imperialism.
Started.
Well,
Okay, buddy.
beyond the continental borders.
Yeah. Oh, here it is. He sent battleships to Cuba on a friendly visit, not a bad visit. He managed. Oh yeah, this is a big one. I actually know quite a bit about this, where the Spanish sabotaged one of the battleships. It's the USS Maine. I remember this because um, McKinley specifically stopped us from going to war with Spain over them blowing up the Maine, which I think was good. Less war equal good. And then he
Yeah.
forced the
So
Spanish to have peace with the Cubans.
remember the Maine to hell with Spain.
Yeah. Increased defense spending, good. What I like to hear. Intervened in the Cuban Civil War. Oh,
sent
he's the one
troops
who
to
established the Federal Army.
put down a rebellion in China.
Yeah, and then Spain declares war on the US right after. And then Congress declares war on Spain. We win, obviously.
I'm gonna put him in A tier.
I'm gonna be real with you. He seems pretty decent. Um, the thing that I'm really seeing here that isn't crazy is that I'm not seeing a whole lot of like fucked up racist shit.
Yeah,
We're really seeing a turn in American history here.
yeah, I think
Oh,
he's a solid A tier.
authorized voting machines for federal elections. Oh wow, he made open door notes to Britain, France, Russia, and Japan.
Yeah, open your doors just so I can slap tariffs on you.
Well, pretty much.
Well, you gotta respect him for it. And hit balls.
Oh god, the Gold Standard Act. All right, tried to keep
And
us
then
behind for a few extra years.
he got killed.
Yeah, he got killed right after re-election, right?
I believe so.
No, he declined to run again and then got shot. Okay. Um, I'm putting him in A tier. He seems pretty decent, and he managed to not do anything overtly racist, which is an accomplishment in this time period. Now, I think the next one is very important because we get to speak softly and walk with a big stick.
And I'm wondering if this is where we'll have another disagreement.
I don't think so, to be honest. I like Teddy quite a lot. Um, he created the Department of Commerce. He established the national park system. He recognized Panama internationally. He commissioned the construction of the Panama Canal. Doubled down on Sherman Antitrust Act. I don't have any issue with him.
I'm putting him in S tier.
He
Not
also he also oversaw uh the Scarlet Fever outbreak or whatever. What there was an outbreak of a disease, a pandemic at the time, and he upheld the legality of compulsory vaccination laws. So he forced everybody to get vaccinated.
I'm putting him in S not only for his conservation work for the Department of Commerce, but also if there's any other president aside from George Washington who has aura, it's him.
Oh yeah, this guy I wouldn't I'll tell you what, in real life, I wouldn't fuck with Theodore Roosevelt. Straight up. I would not mess with that motherfucker. He seems like
I would
hard in a way I don't want to mess with.
I would love to be friends with Teddy. He seems like he would be a great guy to be friends with.
Yeah, he seems funny. But the one of the biggest things that I think deserves the S tier is that he kind of prevented World War One from starting early because he stopped the Russian-Japanese War. And then as a result of that, the US became besties with China. He also passed public transportation rate controls. So, like, at the time, train prices, like the fare prices, were just going completely out of control, lunatic style. Um, he put like price caps on train tickets. Top tier.
S tier.
Yeah, and on top of that, Teddy was the first president to ever actually physically go to another country while he was the sitting president. He went to Panama to check on the construction.
My man.
But yeah, he's kind of badass. Like, I don't know how else to do it. He also passed child labor laws. Like, he's just kind of cool. So yeah, S tier. He is an S tier president. I don't know why you thought we'd disagree on that.
I don't know. I thought maybe you would rank him in A tier. I didn't think you would rank him any lower than A, to be fair. I just thought that you wouldn't rank him as highly. That's all.
I see.
And now the another unfortunate president.
Well, he's not just unfortunate. He's bad, dude.
Yeah.
Like, he's really bad. We're of course talking about William Taft, Billiam the Tafter. He's he kind of was a what is it? He's like a super expansionist, but he fucks it up and doesn't do it well. I guess is the best way to describe him, right?
Yeah.
He did reduce tariffs though, so that gets him a little bit of points. Gotta love free trade.
Um,
Oh, he didn't really do a whole hell of a lot though.
I think I'm gonna put him in D tier.
Why is that?
He didn't do a whole hell of a lot, and he fucked up a little.
What did he fuck up so bad?
Um, well, he dismissed the chief forester appointed by Roosevelt. So
Is that why
already
him
that
and Teddy were so at like each other's necks? I know Theodore hated him.
I'm sure that was one of the reasons.
Oh, no, I'm sorry. I forgot that he did this. Taft gets unfathomably horrible. Because he went at the time, we had US oil, US steel, all kinds of different like nationalized options as businesses for basic raw materials. And he went out of his way because he couldn't outright close them himself. So he sued them and argued that they were inherently monopolizing that resource because they had the backing of the US government, took them to the Supreme Court, and won, thus resulting in the dissolution of US steel and US oil, which skyrocketed the prices of steel and oil.
Nope. Yep. F tier.
Unfathomably horrible.
On to a better man.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not even done looking at this motherfucker. Yeah, he had a lot. Taft was was quite terrible. Fuck you, Taft. Unfathomably horrible. So now we're on to one of my pocket picks, top tier, Woodrow Wilson. I'm just gonna go ahead and tell you, S tier, straight up,
S S tier.
S tier, top shelf, fucking president, above Lincoln, definitely above Lincoln. He's awesome. He was the first president to really favor the people. You know what I mean? Like, take the focus off of rich fuckers and put it on the people. For example, the 17th Amendment changed the way that we elect senators. It made it so that there was no longer a millionaires club in the Senate. Because if you didn't know, back in the day, to become a senator, you would have to pay a fee. And if you couldn't afford the fee, you weren't allowed to become a senator. So it inherently disenfranchised a shitload of people who weren't exceedingly wealthy. So, extra super bonus points to that. On top of that, the man oversaw the post World War One effort in the United States. He was the first person to talk about the League of Nations, the International League of Nations, because he didn't want something like World War One to ever happen again. Hold on, we'll get there in just a few minutes. And he did everything he could to try and create like a international conglomeration of different nation states. He also completely wiped out tariffs. Like he borderline completely got rid of them because his focus was so strongly on international conglomeration and cooperation. He can we consider Woodrow Wilson like the first globalist?
Um, I suppose so. Despite I'm trying to see if there could be an argument made for Teddy.
Well, I mean, technically, the other presidents would do like international trade and stuff like that, but
Yeah,
normally it was like with specific sections of the world. Woodrow Wilson said, "Fuck it, everyone."
no, and well, I don't think Teddy was truly focused on any one area. But I will say that in comparison to their efforts in the amount of international relationship building that they did, I guess Woodrow was a little bit better in that regard.
Mm, yeah, and a lot of people are going to give me hate for this one. There's a lot of debates over whether or not this was a good decision, but I would argue until I'm on my fucking deathbed that this was one of the best presidential decisions we've ever had. And that's the Federal Reserve Act that established the Federal Reserve, established 12 national banks in different districts, and also reestablished a central banking system through the Fed, which we did not have previous to that since Andrew Jackson tore it down. He's an unfathomably horrible for a reason. And after this decision was made, everybody was able to participate in the banking system and everything started to run more smoothly. The economy thanked us for this. It blossomed into something beautiful as a result. Fantastic.
It's just unfortunate that he wasn't able to join the league.
Yeah, unfortunately, he couldn't convince Congress to join the League of Nations that he fought so hard for. But in exchange, they did let him establish Mother's Day.
What a consolation prize.
Yeah. He also started the FTC because here's the reason that that's beneficial. The FTC allowed them to have some amount of control over things like stock trading, business conglomeration, all kinds of fun stuff that happens in a capitalist economy. And what he said is, well, we can't just let these fuckers do whatever they want. Let's establish the Federal Trade Commission and force them to actually play by a certain set of rules. Fantastic decision, blossoming. This is the point in time where we start to see the stock market become a real thing. Because before this, the stock market was super volatile in the US by comparison. At this point in time, the stock market had existed for, I think, about 40 years. And in those 40 years, there had already been 3 stock market crashes, like complete crashes, total crash and burn. Um, and the goal of the FTC was to help and mitigate those really big up and down spikes and instead have a smoother growth curve. Fantastic. He also doubled down on more antitrust laws. Phenomenal. Couldn't be better. Oh, man. He's so awesome. Established more national parks. Reestablished U.S. Steel. Threatened Germany. So here's something that a lot of people don't realize. Germany started being a bunch of fuckers before World War II started. So they did something called Sink the Lusitania, okay? And Woodrow Wilson was very pissed off about this, and he sent them multiple warnings that if they ever tried it again, he's fucking them up. So he took a really strong stance against Germany, both Weimar Republic and Nazi Germany. He was not a fan of either. Kind of racist though.
All right.
So where are you putting him?
I was originally going to put him in A tier, but to be honest, I think a lot of his faults weren't necessarily his own. So I'm going to stick him in S.
He also made the first national birth control clinic. It was federally funded.
The next man is...
Dude, I'm not done. This guy's so overpowered. Great. Fantastic. Top tier U.S. president.
What else do you want to say about him?
18th Amendment. That's a little bit of a sore spot for him, I'm sure. Continued with the Sedition Act. I mean, there's more that you guys can learn about him. He also, he was also there when women were given the right to vote. He supported the 19th Amendment. Yeah. And then he won a Peace Prize, a Nobel Peace Prize. S tier president. I mean, there's so much more that we could say about him, but I want to get to everybody. Ah, yes. Warren Harding, the fuckface.
Yeah.
Immediately took office and immediately put in place emergency tariffs through the Emergency Tariff Act. Piece of garbage. He then, with the Emergency Tariff Act, he set the U.S. up for hardcore failure later down the. We'll get there in 8 years. Don't worry. From now, and I'll explain why it's a problem. But his tariffs overly protected American industries, stifled globalism and global trade, and also he had a serious issue with corruption in his presidency. He was arguably the most corrupt president ever to hold office. Are you with me on this one?
Yeah.
It's Teapot Dome. That's what it's called. Where he went around everybody to sell a plot of oil land to a company at a steep discount to personally gain from it. He was just so completely rife with corruption. It's unbelievable. Was there anything really notable about him other than the ridiculously horrible corruption?
No, not really. At least not
And
that
do we
I
know
can.
who killed him?
Nobody.
What do you mean? I thought he was poisoned.
No, I don't think so. He had food poisoning, but that was
I
the.
see. Okay. Yeah, can we put Harding? I think belongs in unfathomably horrible.
I'm willing to put him here.
In unfathomably horrible.
Yep.
All right. Next up, my man, Calvin Coolidge. This might come as a surprise to you, Marcus. I love Calvin Coolidge.
Really?
He's pretty top tier, dude. Like he is big top tier. He managed to handle all of the stuff that was going on with the um with the Teapot Dome controversy. He was the first president to ever hold a what do they call it? A special committee to investigate the issue, and he had appointed the special committee to fully investigate Harding's presidency and everyone that was associated with the corruption, which was an extremely popular, like the populace loved. They thought it was genius. He also passed bonus bills for soldiers that gave veterans yearly annuities. So he essentially set up a veterans program that would work similar to a pension plan for people who had served in the military. Top tier. He then won re-election because he was so popular with a whole bunch of different stuff, and then he kind of goes off the rails a little bit. He kind of goes off the rails a little bit after that. He developed the Federal Radio Commission, which later becomes the FCC, I'm pretty sure. And then he chooses not to run in the next election. He recognized the nationalist Chinese government despite pressure from the Japanese. And he also supported the Kellogg-Briand Act. And for those of you who don't know, the Kellogg-Briand Act was a piece of legislation where Calvin Coolidge got together a whole bunch of European nations, and they all agreed that if there's a dispute, war is not an acceptable outcome, and people are going to come after you if you try to settle a basic dispute with war. So he managed to maintain world peace in a very destabilized time, and he handled the corruption stuff really well, I feel. I put him in B.
I'm willing to accept that. I don't. To be honest, before this, I had little to no idea about him.
I only know about him because of the Teapot Dome thing. That's what got me interested in him originally. And so as a youngster in middle school, I thought the name Calvin Coolidge was really cool. So I learned a bit about him. Next up, Stinky. Herbert Hoover is Stinky, for those of you who don't know. Herbert Hoover, in my opinion, was one of the worst U.S. presidents that we've ever had. And I believe that I mentioned Harding earlier was horrible because of the tariffs that he raised. He like skyrocketed tariffs through the roof. Well, that becomes a problem here in 1929 when Hoover gets elected because the stock market absolutely fucking explodes shortly after, and it's because people are they are literally in a position where they are taking out loans on margin to purchase stocks because they're under the belief that the stock market is just going to go up forever. So they continue to take out loans to buy more stocks, thinking that they'll just be able to pay back the loans with their dividends from the stocks that they've purchased with the loans. Well, in 1929, what happens is that, sorry, I'm chewing something, is that Black Thursday occurs in 1929. Officially marks the end of the Roaring Twenties, which was a time where, how do I put this? Liberalism and progressivism flourished. Was the Roaring Twenties. Women had gotten the right to vote, and they had been starting to get more rights in a public atmosphere. And as a result of that, we started to see a lot of progress and all kinds of liberal ideology sticking out in the 1920s. And then the stock market crashes. All those people who had taken out margin loans in order to purchase stocks, all of a sudden they're broke as fuck. Everyone's dead. Great Depression fires. So, Herbert Hoover didn't directly have anything to do with that because it was Dickhead. What's Dickhead's name? Harding.
Dickhead?
It was Harding.
Oh.
Who set those up unfathomably horrible tier as well, with creating these instrumentally large tariffs, which created a certain market condition for a temporary period of time that convinced people that it was okay to purchase these stocks on margin, leading eventually to the stock market crash that caused the Great Depression. However, Herbert Hoover is to blame partly because that motherfucker didn't do shit to help anybody. Everybody's fucking marching on Washington at this point and literally building things called Hoovervilles, named after Herbert Hoover, because of how horrible the economic situation has gotten in the United States at this point in time. And Hoover's response to this is, yeah, whatever, let them sit there, who cares? Fuck it. I think in a public speech he had mentioned that this was the deal for Americans. Or no, it was that the people who were coming to protest and setting up the Hoovervilles, they were saying that they want a new deal between the people and the federal government of the United States. However, Hoover did support some public works. For example, the Hoover Dam, one of the largest hydroelectric plants in the entire fucking world at the time, especially. And the public works that he paid to have built employed 4.5 million people, which at that time is no joke. That's a significant chunk of people. So he's like a lot of good and bad, a lot of stinkies. But the problem is he didn't stop the Great Depression from starting. He didn't do anything to help anybody which would have stopped the Great Depression from happening. He didn't put any rules in place to stop people from buying things on margin in the stock market and ruining their lives when they have no idea what they're doing. And so he kind of, yeah, he turns away the Hunger Marchers, is what they were called in 1931. That's what it was. Um, so yeah, he just kind of. Oh, he also deployed the army, the U.S. Army, to get rid of veterans that were protesting in the yard, or the reflecting mirror, or whatever the fuck they call it. Actually, I don't think it was the reflecting pool yet, but he had the army disperse of veterans that were protesting his administration. So he's just, if he had done anything, he could have stopped the Great Depression from happening. So for that, he's going into the unfathomably horrible category, but I'm actually putting him not as bad as these other four dick fuck bastards. These four are like in a league of can I create another? No wonder there was an E tier. Because like Herbert Hoover is kind of just unfortunate. Do you have any thoughts on Herbert the Hoover?
What could I say about the man that you haven't already?
Yeah, true. Honestly, I should have let you take over for Herbert Hoover because I got a lot to say about the next guy. So, this now marks the period of U.S. history where I feel like I have some knowledge. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like I got some knowledge going on. Franklin Delano Roosevelt, let's just go ahead and put him where he belongs at the absolute peak. This is my pick for the single best U.S. president ever. It's not close. The people loved him. As a matter of fact, he was so immensely popular that they even elected him 4 times. So, I mean, we can't really be complaining about that, you know what I'm saying? So, I'm personally a fan of FDR. He's the reason that we were able to electrify many of the states in the South that had still been suffering from a lack of industrialization because the Reconstruction era and the Civil War's effects still lingered all the way up to this point. And then on top of that, he also started what's called the New Deal. Remember before with Herbert the Hoover, I said that everybody was asking for a New Deal? That's actually where the term comes from. He said that his presidency marked the start of a new deal for the American people. Hi from Austria. Hi from Austria, Kilo. I appreciate you. Welcome to the stream.
Yeah.
Wie gehen Sie?
Yeah, you fucked that one up real bad.
Yeah, well, I mean, I was in the middle of a thought. But yeah, so he electrified a lot of rural communities. He gave plumbing to a lot of rural communities. He started the interstate highway system. Top tier. I mean, what else? Oh yeah. He also presided over World War II. You know, I mean, he kind of handled that situation quite well, all things considered. Um, what other things do you got, little Marky?
He was good enough to be elected 4 times.
Yeah, that's what I said. Like, dude, there's a story that I always love, and it was of a journalist who was there when it was of a journalist who went there when he was dying and his body was getting taken away by a train car, and there was a man who had his hat taken off, and the journalist approached him because he was like shedding tears, and he asked him, "Oh, did you know the president?" And the guy who was standing there said, "No, I didn't know the president at all, but he sure did know me." And that's always struck a chord with me. He just really had a person first approach to running government, like a people first. He was a super populist, I guess is how I put it. Um, he's the best president ever. And there's a lot more that we can say, obviously, but we still have some more people to go through here. I prefer JFK over FDR. JFK is a great president, but I think that if FDR doesn't get the ball rolling on all of these government programs, I think that JFK doesn't get the opportunity to do things that he wanted to do, like, for example, continue with the legacy that FDR established in setting up the Great Society, for example, which established most of what we know as our modern high school system in a good way. Did you have anything else about Roosevelt, Mark?
No, I didn't. I
All
knew
right,
I knew this was going to be your top tier, so
he's the number one for me.
I just want to let you have it. Have it.
Good, I'm glad. Fleet pick is Bill Clinton. That man could dig in his butt, twin. Oh my god, we digging in our butt, twin. I'm not gonna lie to you. I keep looking over and I see the digging in your butt, twin thing, and I'm just like, that meme. Like, I'm holding it together, but that meme is haunting a corner of my mind. Like, I can't escape it. So I feel you. But where did you rank FDR?
Oh, S tier.
Which place in S tier?
That I still need some time.
All right. Got you. Got you. All right, so Truman. Well, I'll let you take away Truman. I've been kind of talking a lot.
Harry S. Truman, the man defeated by Dewey.
Oh no. That was quite the blunder for newspapers, wasn't it?
Yeah. I mean, for all intents and purposes, I think it, starting with Truman, or really starting with FDR, we get a pretty good line of good presidents. I think there could be a solid case for any of the next four after FDR for being A tier, maybe plus, depending
Yeah, I'm with you.
on how you look at them. Me personally, I would probably rank Truman as the worst of the successors, which is by no
I
means a mark
agree with
against
you.
it. Which is it's no means a mark against him, but considering what Dwight and JFK did, I think that Harry just
He
I don't
just
want to
didn't
say
live up to he didn't
I
take the
I don't
mantle of
I don't
FDR.
I don't want to say that. I think that he did. I think more importantly, he didn't he didn't raise it much further. I think FDR took the mantle of the presidency and raised it up to such a high level that immediately after Harry took office, he couldn't just measure up. He could only just measure up to it and not raise it higher. I think Dwight and JFK were able to raise it even higher.
He
If
raised
that makes
minimum
sense.
wage. My problems with Truman weren't domestic so much as they were foreign problems for me. Didn't Truman found a bunch of dairy farms in the Midwest? I'm not sure, but I know that Reagan did a lot of dairy farm stuff. I know that Reagan really did a lot of government subsidies for dairy, but I'm not 100%. My biggest problems though with Truman are his foreign policies, and also I'm just gonna throw this out there. I see I see Truman as kind of a shyster, if I'm honest. Like I don't trust the guy because here's the thing. Truman constantly talked about how awful it was to drop the atomic bombs. Okay, he constantly talked about how much he regretted it and X, Y, and Z. He hated himself so much for it. It lasted with him forever. But at the same time, that motherfucker didn't stop funding additional research for better atomic bombs. He funded the research that ended up resulting in the U.S. having the world's first hydrogen bomb. So I don't really want to hear that he felt so bad about it. You know what I mean? Like, you couldn't have felt that bad about it if you just kept building better bombs.
I don't. I don't
But
think that. I don't think it's necessarily uh counterintuitive. Like tensions with tensions with the Soviet Union would have started rising around his presidency. Not to the extent that it would eventually become, but it would have started around now. So I don't think that's
yeah, but he
necessarily.
signed off on it.
Yeah, and you could make the argument that it was uh as a countermeasure towards the Soviets.
See, that's another thing. His foreign policy, as far as the Soviets are concerned, was abysmal. How did they not realize? Okay, so World War II ends. All right, Korea is doing its thing. Japan is under U.S. occupation, pretty much, and China has swapped from nationalist China, which the U.S. liked, to communist China, which the U.S. was not friends with. So why does Truman not go out of his way to become friends with communist China? Because he should have done everything he possibly could to stop China and the Soviet Union from allying with one another. And he just didn't.
Yeah, that is an upsie.
Like, why did he not stop Chairman Mao? He was also the first one to start getting involved in this fucking contain communism shit where we just start getting into fucking random ass forever wars for no fucking reason that have nothing to fucking do with us. It was just stupid. It was dumb. I was upset. However, he did raise taxes on the wealthy. So, can't complain too much. You like that one, huh?
Yeah, I'm gonna put him in A tier.
Ah, I'm putting him in B. I can't sign off on that guy, really, to be honest with you. Like, I wouldn't vote against him necessarily, depending on his opponent, but I really just I don't like him. He's kind of a fucking boner.
Yeah, I mean that's fair enough.
And then we got the man, the myth, the legend next. Dwight D. Eisenhower.
Ike.
Oh yeah, I like Ike. So do you want to take this one or all right, I guess I'll take
Like
this one.
I like him. I like Ike.
I like Eisenhower a lot. I like Eisenhower much more than Truman. Let me just put that
It,
out there. Um, he was really big on refugees and asylum seekers. He actually, here, I got the number right here next to me. He signed the Refugee Relief Act, which allowed 214,000 more immigrants than were permitted under the currently existing immigration quotas. So essentially, he set up a pathway for refugees and asylum seekers, which is fantastic. Can't really beat that. Um, he was well. I already know this just because I'm throwing it out there. But the over $1 million marginal tax rate while Eisenhower was president was at 90%. Top tier, top shelf, genius. Bring it back. We need it.
He worked behind the scenes to stunt McCarthy.
Well, yeah, that was pretty crucial. And he did this as a Republican. I'm just saying, we could use another Republican like Eisenhower.
And I will say that something I didn't realize until looking at the Miller Center that I think was a blunder is Brown versus the board, right?
Well, he didn't have any control over it.
No, he didn't have any control over it, but he never came, according to the center, he never spoke out in favor of the court's decision, which probably did not help race relations in this country. I say probably, it definitely didn't help race relations in this country.
I mean, obviously.
So,
I mean, we're officially in the civil rights movement now.
yeah.
So yeah, that kind of stuff is going to come back up. It's kind of interesting how going through this, we notice that at different time periods, like every like 80 years or so, race becomes the top issue all of a sudden for like 20 years. And then it dies down and goes away for like 50 to 80 years. And then all of a sudden, race is the big issue again. It's kind of crazy. Like, none of the Reconstruction presidents really had too much to say about race. And the World War like two presidents had nothing to fucking say about race, really. He was more about like class and like poverty, stuff like that. But like he just he did his thing, man.
Yeah.
Crazy. I do think though that he could have taken a stronger stance against the Soviet Union. Especially since I'm pretty sure it was Eisenhower at the very start of his presidency, Stalin was announced as dead. That was like the prime opportunity to get in there. I don't know, man. I feel like if Eisenhower ran today, I think that he would be considered like a far left progressive by most people on the right, which is kind of crazy. Also, some big things that Eisenhower did that you would not see from the conservatives today is he increased spending on space exploration funding and research. He implored Congress, he asked for them to increase federal aid to different education systems nationwide. He asked for housing stimulus, actually. So what his plan was is we're just going to take federal money and we're going to give it to companies to build low income housing. Whoa! Galaxy brain idea, dude. So top tier decisions as far as that's concerned. He also extended the olive branch for the civil rights movement as well because he met with Martin Luther King Jr. and multiple other civil rights leaders at the time. I think that Eisenhower wanted to do a civil rights act, but knew that he couldn't get it passed in Congress. just based off of what I know about him.
Yeah. I'm putting him in A tier.
I think A tier is the only place he could possibly go. I guess the only thing that I really don't like about him is his approach to the Soviet Union and his approach to unions. Like he should have knocked it up a little bit more. Oh, goddamn. Oh, he did
Now
have
on
a Civil Rights Act. He had the first Civil Rights Act with the voting rights.
and
And then
now on to
everybody knows who comes next.
on to Camelot.
Shut up. On to Camelot, you fuck. JFK comes the next president. He establishes the Peace Corps. He sends people to space.
So
Um,
I earlier today, as I was doing some research, I had asked my dad passed by, and I'm like, who do you think is the best president? Like, who do you think did the most good, gave America the most prestige? And he gave me two answers. One of them being JFK, and
what
I
was the
can't.
other?
The other will come in a little bit.
Oh,
And I can't say that I necessarily disagree with him. If when I think about JFK, I think about how under his presidency, America began to shape itself into modern America.
see, I think that actually happens under Truman and Eisenhower more than anything else. I guess technically speaking, for me, modern America starts at FDR, but like not his first term. It starts at like halfway through his last term when we're starting to get close to wrapping up World War II, and the U.S. is coming out on top as the major superpower. But I do have to say, I like JFK quite a lot. But I do gotta say, the start of his presidency was pretty fucking rough. Like, dude,
Yeah,
he gets elected and he gets inaugurated, and only a few months later, he has the Bay of Pigs happen. That was such a fucking disaster on an international scale.
yeah,
Um, but then he puts Americans in space. He starts increasing some research spending. He starts really I think that JFK was the first person to really capitalize on the new superpower status that the US had. Like he was the first one to say, "Hey, we have the best and biggest economy in the world now." Pretty much there's an asterisk there obviously. Let's take advantage of it. So he started to roll out programs like uh I mean NASA already existed, I'm pretty sure, but he funded it extremely heavily so that we could get a man on the moon. He started the Great Society policies, which are like public works but mostly focused on higher education at colleges and education from K through 12 as well. He's actually the one, well, him and Lyndon B. Johnson had kind of, I mean, you know the conclusion to JFK's story, but they actually created the AP program that many kids take part in still today, like 70 years later. They're still in place and they're still helping kids learn at a much higher level. Um, he's also the first U.S. president who actually tried democracy with the USSR, like top tier. He's incredible. That was fantastic. Genius plan. He also He also was presiding over a shift in the civil rights movement where we started to see people uh, loosen up to the idea, I guess, lubricate to the idea of segregation ending. And this is all happening under JFK. He also banned nuclear testing. Like he did the international deal with the Soviet Union, the British and the US where we all agreed to stop testing nuclear launches.
S tier.
He's an S tier, but I put him at the bottom of S right now.
Yeah, I agree. I might put Woodrow below JFK because I just like JFK.
I like JFK too, but I mean he's in a very prestigious group. I've placed him, so I feel like it's good enough. Now, and this is going to be very controversial, I think, my opinion on this, but I actually put LBJ in S tier just above JFK. Any arguments here, Marky?
Vietnam was a mistake, but
Well, that was happening regardless of him.
yeah, but under the Great Society, fighting poverty, uh, his wife, I think, she she fought for and got support for rehab centers,
Yes.
if I'm not mistaken. Like, no, top tier.
Though I will say that JFK's wife was really hitting the first lady shit hard too. Like these two combined were the best post FDR presidents, I think. Like
Definitely,
they really capitalized on it.
definitely the best back-to-back presidents.
And he also was Lyndon B. LBJ was the most critical civil rights president since Abraham Lincoln, I feel. I mean, he signed the Civil Rights Act of 1964. He also did one of the most important things of any president ever, and that was be president and support the 24th Amendment. For those of you who don't know, the 24th Amendment was the amendment to the Constitution that made it unconstitutional to charge polling tax. Because before this, you would have to pay to go vote. So he essentially doubled down on the idea that we are actually a democracy. Top tier aura points for that one. And then the Great Society speaks for itself. But yeah, you're right. I mean, the Vietnam War was a huge mistake and should have never happened. But he also signed the Economic Opportunity Act. I mean, that's some pretty good stuff. And so you know how later Reagan starts the war on drugs?
Yeah.
Well, Lyndon B. Johnson started the war on poverty. Where the fuck did that go?
Exactly where it went down, right into the trash.
I know, they threw it right in the dumpster, didn't they?
Yeah.
How awful. Um, but yeah, and he supported desegregation, which is top tier. He created Medicare and Medicaid, top tier, very important. He also passed the Voting Rights Act, which doubled down on Civil Rights Act to make it so that people couldn't intimidate African American folks or women. at polling places. Um, he was just kind of awesome. Trying to figure out what else he had going on here that I haven't already mentioned. Yeah, the Tet offensive is pretty bad. That's pretty bad. Yeah, dude, honestly, I think that if you remove the Vietnam War from his presidency, he's like unequivocally top tier.
Yeah.
He did more for higher education than any US president, I feel. Top tier. Great Society's top tier. And now we enter the age of darkness. So, this is
Is it
old
that?
Nixon. What'd you say?
Is it really that dark?
Well, we're starting with Richard Nixon, and it only gets worse from there. So,
Yeah, I know, but
I will say I didn't expect this to take as long as it did. I think we're gonna start going a little bit quicker here now. Um,
alright.
by the way, where did you put LBJ?
Oh, S tier.
Yeah, he's definitely S tier. I think yeah, I'm gonna say it. I think LBJ was the last fantastic president that we had. Like I don't think I'm gonna put any more presidents in S tier.
I might.
In S tier?
Mhm.
No, not the peanut farmer.
Well, we'll get to him when we get to him. Anyway, Nixon,
Oh, Jesus.
I'm willing to place in C tier.
I'm putting Nixon in D tier. Rife with controversy. Though I will give him some points for trying to end segregation, but he completely fumbled the Vietnam War. He literally tried to rig the election as much as you possibly could in this time period. Um, he's a scumbag.
All
But
right.
he did establish the postal service. Oh, he started OSHA too. Okay, you know what? I'll bump him up to C. He's not that bad.
Now for Jerry Ford.
Yeah, the unelected man.
Let's see. He pardoned Nixon.
That's some bullshit. Fucking dickhead. He was the first president to really give a fuck about inflation, though. Go figure.
Really, I'm willing to give him a C.
No,
I don't.
I'm giving him a D. He's worse than
You're
Nixon,
giving.
and he's worse than Nixon because he lowered taxes on wealthy people. Anybody, and I mean anybody on this list who lowered taxes specifically for wealthy people is immediately going in at the highest D tier for me. You know, I do say though, Gerald Ford for me, he kind of does something similar to Calvin Coolidge. Like he kind of follows a similar playbook, except more modern. Like he set up a commission to investigate Nixon's wrongdoings and things like that.
All right. On to James Earl Carter.
Yeah, we can just jump over Ford. I feel like he really didn't do a whole hell of a lot. But we
Yeah,
can go on to our favorite peanut farmer now.
I'm willing to put him in B tier.
Really? I want you to explain that one.
I don't know too much about him, but it just seems like a nice guy.
He
I
just
mean,
seems like a nice guy.
was he not?
I mean, yeah, of course he was. Or at least seemed that way. But he had
Right?
some serious issues.
Okay, tell me because I really don't know.
He is actually the of the previous 11 um recessions that we've had. He is the only Democrat president that has been in office when one has happened. And just for reference, that means that the other 10 were under Republican presidents. Just a heads up, chat, for where we're going with this. Um, so yeah, it's pretty bad. But it wasn't really his fault. Like there was just kind of other stuff going on. Like for example, Gerald Ford had just dropped taxes through the floor, completely slashed taxes on the wealthy, and as a result of that, he had to also slash across the board social benefits and things like subsidies for housing that had been set up during the Great Society policies of JFK and Lyndon B. Johnson, which I mean, honestly, it started the trail downwards for the U.S. Like I feel like Gerald Ford marks the start of the end for the American prosperity movement. And I think that Jimmy Carter was an unfortunate inheritor of a dog shit economy that was primed to fail. But I don't really feel like it was his fault as much as it was Nixon and Ford. But Carter Carter increased funding for schools. He passed energy and employment bills that also made it so that full-time employment was more possible for most people. He kind of limited the way that you can say no, this person's not full-time. Um, he kind of embarrassed himself a little bit in public by falling when he was in the middle of a run. He fell like flat on his face actually, and people kind of memed on him for it. He also had the issue where, for some reason, so let me put it to you this way: I think that Carter was really good domestically, but he was fucking stupid foreign policy wise. Like for example, he had the SALT laws, and essentially what he did was a weakened Soviet Union was happening. Like the Soviet Union was in decline at this point in the 80s, okay? And he put an embargo on grain sales to the Soviet Union. So he said, "We're just going to starve them out. Fuck them." And it resulted in a famine in the Soviet Union that just killed millions of people. It's kind of fucked up. So, I mean, you take the good with the bad on this one. He also was one of the first presidents, that became obsessed with being involved with the Middle East. And he hated nuclear war.
D tier.
Yeah, I'd put him in B. He was kind of an unfortunate inheritor to some stuff. Come on. Okay. Now I'm going to start pissing people off. We got Ronald Reagan up next. I'm gonna tell you guys, unfathomably horrible, but he is the least bad of the unfathomably horribles. I hope that compromise helps some people. Hope. But he's unfathomably horrible, and he's unfathomably horrible for multiple reasons. First of all, the Iran-Contra conflict was a problem, but if I'm honest, it's not one that I really give too much of a fuck about. The one that I really give a fuck about that Reagan is responsible for is that Reagan gutted the subsidies to higher education that were established in decades prior. And if you actually look at charts that track college tuition, and you go to when he was inaugurated and when he passed the Education Reform Act, all of a sudden you see college tuition start skyrocketing out of control. He wanted to do everything he possibly could, it seemed, to stop people from getting educated. Actually, you know what? Hold on. I'm taking him out of Unfathomably Horrible and putting him in D, just simply because of the next thing that I have for him. My next thing, and this is a good thing for him, is that he was really, really into immigration. He thought that if anybody wanted to come to the US from any corner of the earth, that they should be allowed to do so. And he granted amnesty to all kinds of undocumented and illegal migrants. And as a result of that, I'm removing him from Unfathomably Horrible into D tier because I feel like that kind of recertified the American dream in a time of economic troubles where people were really worried about it. So I feel like he did a good job of addressing bread and butter issues that Americans actually gave a fuck about. But the thing is, he had a really good public visage. Like, the public liked him a lot. But the things that he was actually doing were unfathomably horrible, with the exception of the amnesty for illegal immigrants. For example, he was the president who came in and just fuck paying taxes for rich people. That shit fucking plummeted as a result of his tax cuts. It didn't help the poor in any way, shape, or form. Poor people started paying more taxes under Reagan's presidency, and rich people started paying significantly less taxes under Reagan's presidency, which is a huge problem. Um, he was really good at negotiating with the USSR, I'll say that. So he gets points for that. But yeah, here's the thing that I don't understand. He transitioned the nation from mostly income taxes on the wealthy is the federal revenue, and he transitioned the country from that into the sale of goods is where taxes are coming from. For example, he is the inventor of gasoline tax. For those of you who didn't know, they did not exist before Reagan. He was the gas tax man. He also had his space lasers, the Star Wars. What'd you say?
Because I'm the tax man.
Beat up Bob.
I was doing the Beatles, but sure.
Oh, I see. Yeah, whatever. He also called for a complete freeze on all domestic spending and redirected that money into military spending. He then also offered another tax cut to the wealthy. Yee-haw. And after going out of his way to lower all of these taxes, his next genius move is to say, wait, I want to reduce the deficit. Well, maybe you should have, not lowered taxes so much if you wanted to lower the deficit. Does that just make sense? Am I crazy here on this one, Mark?
You're obviously crazy.
Maybe that deficit existed now and went up and increased because you cut all the taxes. Fucking moron. He also becomes closer friends with China, and he transitioned the economy from a manufacturing, agricultural, um, educational powerhouse and tried to transition the US into a service economy, which is where we're at right now today. And that has resulted in extremely lower wages. It has resulted in um, a much higher propensity for people to experience unemployment or poverty in their lifetime. And it's just causing problems across the board. Um, he established the cheese reserve, as I mentioned earlier, when someone brought up the dairy farms. So, I mean, take that however you want. He failed to negotiate a nuclear peace deal with the USSR, which is something that he desperately wanted. And yeah, then he had Iran Contra. That was bad. I don't know how the motherfucker didn't get impeached for Iran Contra, by the way.
Oliver North took most of the brunt
I know, but that's
of the
fucking
criticism.
bullshit.
Yeah, I know, but
Everyone knows. Everyone knows that it was him. He even admitted it. But he does get super aura points for his speech about amnesty for immigrants, where he says that you can go to Germany and you will never become a German. You can go to Japan, but you will never be Japanese. You can go to Italy and you'll never become Italian. But no matter where you come from any corner of the earth, you can come to America and you can become an American. And that shit hits fucking hard. Like a bald eagle might have just screeched in the distance. So that's how he has narrowly avoided unfathomably horrible. All right, Mark, you want HW? Oh, what? Where did you put Reagan?
put him in D tier.
D tier? Yeah, me too.
Hmm.
Narrowly escaped unfathomably horrible. But I want you to take over HW.
I mean, I'm gonna be honest. B tier.
What'd you say?
B tier.
All right, we're on like the same wavelength here because that's exactly where I wanted to put him too.
Okay, thank God. Like he passed the Americans with Disabilities Act, Clean Air Act.
Fair Labor
Yeah,
Standards Amendments.
yeah. He had to witness the Exxon Valdez, but
He
that's
increased
unfortunate.
minimum wage.
The minimum wage. Um, he oversaw the change between the U.S. Soviet relations.
Well, here's the number one thing. He condemned Tiananmen Square. Sorry, TikTok, don't ban me.
And you're banned.
Yeah, pretty much. He also offered foreign aid to Poland when it was struggling. Top tier. He banned semi-automatic rifles. He bailed out all the banks, which, I mean, that's kind of a neutral issue for me. He also tried to increase taxes on the wealthy people. He ultimately was not able to, but he tried, and I appreciate that. And here's an unpopular opinion, but this is based off of my understanding. I'm not super deep in this one. The Civil Rights Act of 1990, which had the primary purpose of establishing formal hiring quotas for people of different races and backgrounds, and he vetoed it. I support not having that as the law, just to make that clear. And banned. Yeah, I think he was pretty decent, actually. He altered immigration systems to make them more efficient and effective. His real blemish was the stuff in the Middle East.
Yeah.
Like, he had some serious problems in the Middle East. But he also signed the Civil Rights Act of 1991, which made it possible for employees to sue their employer based on discrimination. Top tier. So, I mean, honestly, and he also had the nuclear arms reduction agreement with Russia. Did he have did the Budapest memorandum happen under HW?
1994, yes.
No, he left in 93.
Oh, no, that would have been, yeah, no, that's
Clinton
Clinton.
then. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on to Clinty. You want him?
C tier?
D tier?
C.
Oh. Whoa.
No.
I was like, whoa.
Nah. I think he was I think he was middling.
Clinton goes in A tier for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I put Clinton in A. 90s were top tier. Let me tell you exactly why I put Clinton in A and not S. The only thing for me that is stopping Clinton from becoming S tier is the crime bill. Like, it was inherently discriminatory. It was bad. It was a bad move on his part. I think that was a serious misstep in his presidency. And I think that had that not happened, I would be talking about putting him in S tier right now. Yeah, he did get impeached, but if I'm honest with you, he got impeached for stupid fucking bullshit. So, whatever. However, he gets A tier because he passed the Family Medical Leave Act. He passed healthcare reform. Um, he well, fuck. He was the first person to allow homosexual folks into the military with Don't Ask, Don't Tell. He raised taxes a little bit. He did the Brady Act, which made it so that people who were trying to buy guns, handguns specifically, had to wait 5 days for a background check to be performed by law enforcement officers. So he was very reasonable on gun control. Top tier. He created the NAFTA free trade zone. Fantastic. He was the first president to attend a NATO summit. Fantastic. He lifted trade embargoes on Vietnam and multiple other countries that had still been in place. He reforms welfare. Top tier, man. He addresses the death penalty specifically.
I've been sold. I've moved him up. Also in the spirit of trying to get this moving along.
Yeah. No, I got you. He also reduced tariffs. So top tier.
Okay.
And he had the Budapest memorandum.
Now W.
It's so tough for me. It's either D tier or unfathomably horrible.
I don't think he was all that bad.
Have you heard of No Child Left Behind?
Yes, I have heard. And
It's like one of the worst pieces of legislation ever signed. Straight up. He also tried to ban abortion. Oh, and he also rejected the Kyoto proposal protocol, which was like an international agreement with 180 countries signed on, and they just wanted the US to join to give it some validity, and the only reason that it had 180 countries was because the US backed it, but it was a international agreement between every country practically except for a few that they would reduce industrial emissions and protect the environment, and he rejected it and left, which made it completely fall apart practically. And also on top of all this, we know that that motherfucker stole the election from Al Gore. Like, it's a fact. He also did his $1 trillion tax cuts, lowered the estate taxes. He also stopped stem cell research. Yeah, he's awful. I'm sorry. I can't, he has to go in D tier. He's terrible. No Child Left Behind is the reason that our education system fucking blows dick. I
Alright.
seriously cannot think of a single thing that Bushy Jr. did that I liked.
Alright. Moving on.
Yeah. You put him in D?
Yeah.
Okay. So, Obama. Where do you
This was
put
the
him?
other man.
You're putting him in S?
Mm-hmm.
Oh. Oh, man. Oof. That's kind of spicy. I think that Obama was the start of the modern, like the current Democrat Party. I think that he's kind of the one who gave them the blueprint of how to run the party, how to run the elections, how to do things like that, how to get votes, inspire change, things like that. But there was a couple of things that he did during his presidency that I'm like, that's a little sus. Like, for example, he was just deporting people straight up. He had a little bit better rules than
The
than
Big
Trumpy did
Orange.
about it, but he did do it. But I mean, honestly, he did so many good things. Like, did you know, for example, Obama gave subsidies to build nuclear reactors?
Yes.
That's crazy. But if I'm honest, there's one thing that Obama did that just throws him, like, I'm arguing in my head between A and S here right now. The Affordable Care Act was one of the best and most important pieces of legislation in the past 25 years. Like, that thing it reformed healthcare in such a positive way that it's hard to understate its importance. So, honestly, and the Iran nuclear deal, I have to put him in S. I think you're right. It's the only way. You've convinced me. Or rather, I've convinced myself. What's your favorite Obama policy?
Favorite policy?
Yeah, or like thing that he did.
Oh, it's what was the name of it? The it was the it was the what was it called? He did he did something with the environment, but I can't remember exactly what it
He
was.
did a lot
But
of things with the environment.
I know. That's why I can't.
One of the things that I liked is that he signed this. It's actually called the Stock Act, but it's the Stop Trading on Congressional Knowledge Act, which made insider trading illegal. We also saw the legalization of gay marriage under his presidency too. And the Violence Against Women Act. Oh, are you thinking of the Climate Action Plan?
Yes. There we go.
Got you. Yeah. Okay. He also reformed student loans, like federal student loans. He reformed he reformed the way that you're allowed to take on income-driven repayment plans, and he also increased minimum wage. Yeah, he's S tier. I can't even complain. All right, how do you want to handle this?
I
You want to
think
go
we can just
first?
go. I think we can just go ahead and say unfathomably horrible, and then B
Yeah,
tier or C tier
yeah, but remember,
for.
unfathomably horrible for him. You, since we're putting him there, we have to place him. Is he the worst ever?
Yes.
I don't think so. I think I'm putting him third. I just think that the setbacks that Buchanan and Andrew Jackson forced us into are so unbelievably awful setbacks that he just can't compete in how awful Andrew Jackson and Buchanan are. Like, I mean, I say that because his first term, he did fuck all. Like, let me put it to you this way. If Trump didn't have a second term, I'd be putting him in C tier right now. Because honestly, like, he's a menace, okay? But he really didn't do much during his first term.
Hmm.
Other than sign a bunch of trade deals that he then later said he disagreed with, even though he was the one who signed them. But that's a conversation for another day that people aren't ready for.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, see. Here's the thing. I feel bad putting Buchanan as the worst president ever. I'm moving it. I'm changing my mind. Andrew Jackson's the worst president ever. Trump is second worst, and Buchanan is third.
Yeah.
That's how I'm feeling.
And then to wrap it up with Joe,
Where do you put Joe?
I was just gonna put him in C tier. I think
Oh,
I'm gonna be honest. I think that his handling of Ukraine could have been a little bit better.
I agree
I
with you.
think I
But
think
what the
that
hell
he
else could he
really
do?
I think that he really screwed up the the 2025 2024 election.
He did. He did.
And to be honest, he was just too old. He was just too old. He shouldn't have been president. Like I give Trump a lot of grief for how he talks, how he acts. But Joe should never have been president. He had some moments of actual decorum, but for the most part,
Yeah, I think that this
I
is a pop up effect. Like the person that you're comparing him to is just like so unfathomably horrible that it kind of pops out how he was better by comparison. But I mean, here's the thing. Joe Biden really reformed a whole lot of shit, man. Like, for example, did you know that before Biden was president, it was not a federal crime to lynch somebody. He made it a federal crime. He also tried to protect abortion rights, but his big thing is the Chips and Science Act. Is what I am most happy he passed. I think that that's an incredible landmark, um, incredible landmark piece of legislation that, quite frankly, we haven't even begun to see the full extent of. Oh my god, dude. I'm gonna turn into an old man so fast. Like, I'm scrolling through the key events of his presidency, and I'm like, oh no, I lived for this. I know this. I remember these things. I'm getting old, man. I'm putting Joe Biden in top of A tier, bordering on S tier, because the Chips and Science Act is just so fucking good, and the infrastructure bill is just so fucking good, and his handling of the COVID-19 pandemic situation was so fucking good, and his American Jobs Plan was so fucking good.
All right, and well, there you have
So
it.
yeah,
The
yeah, there it
definitive
is.
president.
The scientifically correct, objectively correct presidential tier list. I'm saving or downloading it.
Yeah, I already did. And I'm just gonna go ahead and say I could not defeat my own personal bias. I kept Abraham as the best.
You're such a bum ass, dude.
Objectively, FDR is better, but I
That's what
just
I
can't.
thought. I'm sorry, dude, but if you disagree that FDR is the best president ever, I don't know what planet you're from. Like you in order to not agree that FDR is the best president in US history, you truly have to know nothing about what he did. Like, truly, you have to be completely ignorant. But yeah, all right. So that was a really long one, and I want to end now. So I hope everybody had fun. Remember, I love each and every single one of you, and I hope that you have a fantastic evening. And of course,